10 minutes apiece, and go when you're ready.
Hello. So today I am arguing that teaching children the flat earth belief is not harmless eccentricity, not innocent alternative thinking, and not just asking questions. It is psychological harm, mental abuse, and in many cases, frighteningly close to educational neglect. Because flat earth is not just a conspiracy theory, it's a gateway drug to total epistemic collapse. To believe the earth is flat, you don't just have to reject one scientific fact, you have to reject reality by committee. You have to believe that every pilot is lying to you, every ship captain is lying to you, every astronaut is lying to you, every physics teacher, every geography teacher, every surveyor, every engineer, every satellite technician, every meteorologist, every government scientist, every space agency, every university, every observatory, every map maker, all lying. And not just mistaken, deliberately lying, coordinated, complicit, malicious. And that is not skepticism, that is engineered paranoia. And when you put that worldview into the mind of a child, you are not making them free thinkers. You are teaching them to be alienated from reality itself. A child learns how to understand the world by building trust carefully and rationally. They learn that some people know more than they do in specific fields. They learn that evidence matters. They learn that if lots of independent people in different countries, in different professions, all arrive at the same answer using different methods, then that means something. Flat Earth destroys that. Because Flat Earth says no, don't trust the pilot, don't trust the teacher, don't trust the textbook, and don't trust the scientist, don't trust the weather satellite, don't trust that telescope, don't trust your exam, don't trust your school, don't trust consensus, don't trust institutions, don't trust expertise, don't trust society. Just trust the bloke on YouTube with a ring light, a messiah complex, and the scientific literacy of damp toast. That is catastrophic for a child. And this matters because children are not just smaller adults. A child's mind is still developing. Their social world is still forming. Their identity is fragile. Their confidence is fragile. Their ability to tell the difference between justified doubt and pathological distrust is fragile. So what happens when, from a young age, you teach them that everyone is in on the lie? You create a child who is primed to be isolated. At school, they become the kid who says the earth is flat. The kid that says gravity's not real and that space is fake. The kid that says that every one of the teachers is lying. That doesn't make them respected by their peers. It makes them ostracized. It marks them out as different, confused, and socially vulnerable. And that damage is not theoretical. Education is not just where children learn facts. It's where they learn how to function in a shared reality with other people. Strip that away, poison that process, and you are not raising an independent thinker. You are sabotaging a child's ability to participate in normal life. That can be life-shaping and life-ruining. Because flat earth is never just flat earth. It's almost always bundled with a wider mentality that experts are corrupt, that institutions are evil, that evidence is fabricated, that contradiction is persecution, and that being corrected is proof that you are right. That is cultic framework. And once a child is taught that framework, they are more vulnerable to every other conspiracy that comes along. Anti-vax lies, government replacement fantasies, pseudo-scientific nonsense like chemtrails, end-time paranoia, secret cabals, global hoaxes, and medical misinformation. Flat Earth is not the destination, it is the training grounds. It teaches a child the method of conspiracy thinking. Start with the conclusion, reject all evidence against it, and treat every expert as compromised. Treat every contradiction as confirmation, and treat social rejection as proof of moral superiority. That is not education, that is indoctrination. Now let's talk plainly about educational neglect, because some people hear the phrase child abuse and immediately imagine only bruises and broken bones. That's not how child protection works. Neglect is abuse. Educational neglect is recognised in child protection laws and safeguarding guidance as a serious form of neglect in multiple jurisdictions. Child Welfare Information Gateway, summarising US state law, explains that neglect is a form of child maltreatment, and states including New Jersey and New York expressly include failures relating to education within neglect definitions. New Jersey's Department of Children and Families says neglect includes failing to provide adequate education, and New York's definition of a neglected child includes a child whose condition is impaired or placed in imminent danger because a parent failed to exercise a minimum degree of care. And courts have said so too. In New Jersey Division of Child Protection and Permanency versus BCNFC in 2020, the New Jersey Appellate Division quoted the state statute defining an abused or neglected child as one whose condition is impaired or in imminent danger of impairment because a parent failed to provide adequate education. The court then stated that a parent's failure to provide an education is a form of neglect and abuse under child protection law. In the matter of Brian H. in New York, the court held that excessive school absence could establish educational neglect and explicitly said that missing that much school can cause potential harm not only to a child's intellectual growth and development, but also through social isolation. And in the matter of John O. Versus Cassandra P. in 2024, a New York appellate court reiterated that educational neglect can be based on a failure to supply an adequate education where the child has been impaired or is in imminent danger of impairment, and that extreme prolonged absenteeism can support that finding. So let's stop pretending that this is some wild rhetorical leap. The legal system already recognizes a simple principle. If you seriously damage a child's education and by doing so impair their development or put it at risk, that is not a quirky parenting choice and can become neglect and abuse. Now apply that principle here. What is Flat Earth doing to child educationally? It teaches them falsehood over evidence, suspicion over reasoning. It teaches them the curriculum is deception and that science class is propaganda. It teaches them that any correct answer that contradicts the family's dogma must be rejected. This is not a disagreement with one lesson. This is a rejection of the entire educational framework a child needs to function. And if a parent systematically feeds that to a child, the harm is not just academic, it is psychological. Because the child is being taught that the whole world is a lie. And the only only safe space is inside the conspiracy. That's exactly how isolation works. That's exactly how coercive belief systems work. That is exactly how you cripple a young person's confidence in their own ability to reason. And the defenders of this nonsense will say, well, parents have the right to raise their children with beliefs. No one disputes that parents have rights, but rights are not absolute when they become harmful. You do not have the right to cripple a child's education. You do not have the right to train them into paranoia. You do not have the right to make them socially and intellectually dysfunctional just because you enjoy pretending NASA is run by cartoon villains. Children are not property, they are people, and they have a right to an education grounded in reality, and this is the heart of it. Teaching Flat Earth to a child means teaching them that everyone is lying. Not a few people, not one institution, but everyone. That kind of worldview is corrosive enough in an adult. In a child, it is devastating. It isolates them from peers, estranges them from teachers, poisons their education, distorts their judgment, and makes them easy prey for every other conspiracy that comes next. And this is why Flat Earth is not merely false, it's abusive in its effects. Because when you take a child who depends on you for truth, and you train them to distrust reality, distrust education, expertise, and distrust the society they must one day live in, you're not protecting them, you are harming them. And this is why teaching children Flat Earth is not harmless nonsense. It's not just another option, it is mental abuse through indoctrination, and in the clearest cases, it belongs in the same conversation as severe educational neglect. Thank you.
Bye.